Okay. Yeah, again, as you know already about Viktor Frankl, Viktor Frankl's life and life experience were all therapeutic tool. I already told you. Can you understand?
Yes.
Okay, good. His life were all therapeutic tool and therapeutic method and theories. Yeah, you know already. Therefore, it is very important to understand Viktor Frankl accurately. You see? That's why today we have to more focusing on Viktor Frankl's life and his experience and his theories. Yeah. That's why you already have finished that the assignment. Today we will discuss about it. Can you understand? Now, please, from the Basalishile, please present your first assignment of Viktor Frankl. Yeah. Okay, good. Your voice is very beautiful, but so low. Please make it high. Some, yeah. Very beautiful voice, but I can hear you well. Yeah. Let's start. Yeah.
With a lifetime that spent most of the 20th century, Viktor Frankl was born 26 March 1905 and died September 2, 1997, was witness to a transformative period in world history. He is most known for being a Holocaust survivor, but in reality, this represented a short period in his long life. By the time he entered the concentration camps at 37 years old, he had already spent much of his adult life as a psychiatrist and neurologist, specializing in the treatment of suicidal patients. He had also developed his own psychology theory called logotherapy, which is known as healing through meaning in Greek. His lasting contribution has been to the field of psychology, with his recognition of meaning as a factor in mental health and his advocacy that the psychologist's role was to help their patients finding meaning. Frankl was so interested in psychology that he began taking adult night classes when he was in junior high school. In 1990, at the age of 25, he organized free youth counseling centers in Vienna that successfully combated the epidemic of teen suicides occurring around the time of report cards. Within a year, suicides dropped to zero. His views about meaning brought him into conflict with Sigmund Freud and Alfred Adler, the founders of modern psychology. As a teenager, he corresponded with Freud and then joined Adler School for a time. Both published his writings on psychology. While still in his early 20s, he did not only understood the principles of the new science of psychology. He sought to improve upon the ideas of Freud and Adler. Although he acknowledged the importance of their work, he went on to establish his own theory, which is logotherapy, which is often referred to as the third school of Viennese psychology. Prior to the war, Frankl gained extensive experience at Steinhoop Psychiatric Hospital, where he was in charge of the pavilion for suicidal women. Over a 40-year period, he treated no less than 3,000 patients each year. Then in 1937, he began his private practice, but with the Nazi invasion, his ability to treat patients became limited. Then in 1940, he joined Rothschild Hospital as head of the neurology department. It was the only hospital in Vienna still admitting Jews. Frankl not only sought to help his patients, but he also how much we From his professional recognition that he had the opportunity to escape Vienna and was in child, and the IP and team were expecting a child, and the idea of operating was actually, but he was treated with synagogue. When Frankl looked at the inscription, it was one of the 10 commandments: honor thy mother and father. He let his visa expire. A short time later, Frankl and his family were forced to move to the Theresienstadt ghetto, also known as Theresienstadt concentration camp, even when they were all living in the ghetto with restricted freedoms. He worked with suicidal patients here. He organized a suicide prevention group to serve as shock absorbers for new detainees arriving at the train station. Frankl spent a total of 3 years in 4 camps. He lost his father in the Theresienstadt ghetto, his brother and mother at Auschwitz, and his wife in the Belsen concentration camp. His sister escaped to Australia. He was devastated when he returned to Vienna and found nothing left of the life he once knew and the people he loved. He focused on reconstructing his manuscripts about logotherapy, which had been taken from him at the first camp. He only devoted a single chapter to his time in the concentration camps, but his publisher requested that he expand on his experiences. Over a 9-day period, he wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He wanted to express himself freely, so he decided to publish it as an anonymous author. The book, originally titled A Psychologist's Experiences the Concentration Camp, was released in German in 1946. The first edition cover does not identify who wrote it. Finally, after friends persuaded him, Frankl decided to accept responsibility of being the author. He was surprised that out of the 39 books he wrote, the one that he wanted to publish anonymously became his most popular. The English translation of Man's Search for Meaning was published in 1959 and became an international bestseller. He saw this not so much as a personal achievement, but as a symptom of the mass neurosis of modern times, since its title promised to deal with the question of life's meaningfulness. In 1991, Man's Search for Meaning was listed as one of the 10 most influential books in the US by the Library of Congress. Still today, decades later, it shows up consistently at Amazon's top 100 books list and is recommended as one of Amazon's top 100 books. Frankl often commented on the American obsession with the pursuit of happiness as stated in the Declaration of Independence. He saw it as a self-defeating goal. He believed that even the role of psychotherapy was not to make people happy, but to enable them to deal with real life and its avoidable hassles. According to Frankl, freedom needs responsibility. Otherwise, life threatens to degenerate into mere arbitrariness. He cautioned about the trend we saw in modern psychotherapy, with its tendency to reduce an individual to nothing more than a victim of influences of nature and nurture. This, he felt, stripped people from any freedom of choice or responsibility. He saw psychotherapy evolving to promise well-being via ready-made formulas rather than as a vehicle that could encourage the patient towards their deeply personal needs. Calling for a rehumanization of psychotherapy, he emphasized the importance of reconnecting people with personal responsibility in order to overcome feelings of meaninglessness and despair. Frankl coined the term existential vacuum to describe the void of meaninglessness that was being experienced by so many people, especially students. He warned that this void would produce anxiety, depression, addiction, and even suicide. He believed that the mechanistic institutional systems developed in the 20th century, which was governments, schools, and corporations, contributed to the existential vacuum. The turning over of personal responsibility of these systems, which focus on external outputs and devalue humanness, had helped produce mass neurosis. In numerous lecture talks to all parts of the world, Frankl expounded his ideas to professionals and laypersons alike. Inspired by these ideas, logotherapy institutes were created around the globe, offering training, therapy, and research in meaning-centered psychotherapy. Frankl was an avid mountain climber his entire life. This continued well into his later years, at which time he also took up flying lessons. He and his second wife, Ellie, worked together on his 39 books. They have one daughter, Gabrielle, married to Frankl, and 2 grandchildren.
Good. So we all present. You may have to move. But patients, are you there? Patients. Can you present yours?
The life of Victor Frankl. Victor Frankl was an Australian psychiatrist who founded logotherapy, a school of psychotherapy that describes a search for a life's meaning as the central human motivational force. Logotherapy is part of existential and humanistic psychology theories. Victor was born on 26 March 1905 at Vienna, Austria-Hungary, and he died on the 2nd of September 1997 at the age of 92. Logotherapy was promoted as the third school of Vienna's psychotherapy after those established by Sigmund Freud and Alfred Adler. As a teenager, he began corresponding with Sigmund Freud when he asked for permission to publish one of his papers. He studied and specialized in neurology and psychiatry with a focus on depression and suicide. He began questioning the Freudian approach to psychoanalysis. Frank developed logotherapy and existential analysis, which are based on philosophical and psychological concepts, particularly the desire to find a meaning in life and free will. Frankl insisted that meaning was the central motivational force in human beings. From 1926, he began refining his theory, which he then termed logotherapy. Frankl identified the three main ways of realizing meaning in life, first by making a difference in the world, also by having particular experiences, by adopting particular attitudes. The four primary techniques offered by logotherapy and existential analysis are the paradoxical intention, whereby clients learn to overcome obsessions and anxieties by self-distancing and humorous exaggeration. There is also the reflection, whereby drawing the client's attention away from their symptoms as hyper-reflection can lead to inaction. Then there's Socratic dialogue and attitude modification, whereby asking questions desired to help clients find and pursue self-defined meaning in life. Therefore, Frankl acknowledgement of meaning as a central motivational force and factor in mental health, his lasting contribution to the field of psychology, whereby it provided the foundational principle for emergency field of positive psychology. That's all.
Good, good. Let's move on to Precious. Are you there? Precious?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't notice you. You have very beautiful hair now. What is this? Tail. Your hair. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, very beautiful. Now I have a question. Do you think who is the Viktor Frankl? Who is Viktor Frankl?
I should read or you're asking me a question?
Yeah. Please. I want to know your feeling about Viktor Frankl. Who is the Viktor Frankl? What kind of person? What kind of person? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I think Viktor Frankl he was very sacrificial in his ways of doing things. I don't want to say he was a psychologist because I feel like his principles were deeper than psychology. He went beyond. He was also, I feel like he was also a very spiritual being.
Yeah.
And most of his values and aspirations were mostly emanated from the Bible. And also his values were anchored in his spiritual life.
Yeah.
Even before he went to the concentration camps. He was already vested, and his life was already anchored in very high standards of spiritual life.
Yeah.
This is why he was even able to, one of the reasons he was able to survive the concentration life, the life in the concentration camp, is because his values and his life was already anchored in his high values of spirituality. And he was already doing work for humanity. He was already healing people. He was already helping a lot of people overcome their psychological problems. He was also learning from them. So his life, when you look at it, he was already living a very high empowered spiritual life. His inner life was very was on another level. I probably feel like he was already awakened, if I may use that word, but he was already living a certain life that is above. He didn't derive his identity from what he was doing. He already knew who he was. His values and his identity were anchored in his spiritual life. So it was easy for him to even leave, to be in the concentration camps. Yes, it was suffering that he was not used to before, but to be in there for him, it's not something that he found solace and comfort in something that he already knew would elevate him and make him survive that life in the camps.
Yeah, good. You have very good point of Viktor Frankl. He always focusing spiritual being in person. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good understanding. Yeah, thank you. And let's move on to who is there? Sam Kelly, so are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah. You may explain what was Viktor Frankl's life. Viktor Frankl's life like.
Okay. For me, I can say Viktor Frankl was a psychologist. Yes, who first got a philosophically psychologist. Meanings like freedom of will.
Okay.
Like he said everyone has got a right to make a decision. But, like they have to make their own decision in life. So there is a freedom for everyone to make his or her own decision. And the Viktor Frankl also basically, whether he was based in spiritual dimension, like he focused more on the spiritual part, like the emotions and feelings of each and every individual internally. So he understood that the healing starts from the spiritual part, that is from the spiritual dimension then to the physical. So I can say Viktor Frankl combines both healing and deliverance and then counseling, physical. So yes. Another thing I can say about him is that he wanted to let people know that each and individual has got a role to play in life, like meaning of life. Or you are not just here on earth just to live. Everyone must understand his or her meaning of life, the purpose, and that thing is more or less attached in God's perspective principles. Yes, that's Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
So if you know each and individual, if she or he knows meaning of life, it means that person, it's impossible for that person, although he or she may try to commit suicide, for example, but if he or she knew the meaning of life, then now he or she will have a reason to resolve that decision, maybe that she or he is meant maybe to want to commit suicide, because that person will see the reason for him or her to live. They wanted each and individual to understand that we are not just here on earth just to eat and drink and then sleep and start, but we are here especially for for a purpose.
Purpose. Yeah.
For a purpose. So it's more or less like that. It gives you You know, some of the people, they used to get on these issues, maybe they kill themselves because they do not know their meaning in life.
Yeah.
That's very crucial.
Yeah.
Actually, meaning in life motivates us to live.
Yeah.
If I know now my meaning in life, then I will want to live. So that's disappointing. I will summarize on that part. But I like his approach in the spiritual dimension,
Yeah.
because he understands that you cannot approach even if you are doing counseling, you cannot approach the issue only on the physical, psychologically or mentally. Some people has been there because they feel everything actually in life is based on spiritual dimension. Then it can then now come to our physical. Then, but it started, the roots core is from the spiritual dimension. So if you are here spiritually, then automatically the fruits that you are going to reap is on the body, it's full and complete healingness. And he also emphasized that healing is in different perspectives. Like you can be when doing those counselings, some of them can be partially healed. Some of them will also be completely healed, and some of them will find that they are not healed at all. But he persisted that because when he touched this spiritual dimension, it means now you have to be patient. So it's not easy for you to be patient if you do not have the fruit, what we call patience. Patience is one fruit from the spiritual dimension, according to Galatians 5:22. It's one fruit of the Holy Spirit that will help that person to be patient, even the one who are therapists. Yeah, I've learned a lot actually in this time. I've reached a level that is not all about being a profession in counseling for these things, but you must also not give the things of the Holy Spirit. You're tempting me to preach. That's all.
Very good. Beautiful. You have very good intention and very good understanding of Viktor Frankl's. Good. So let's move on to Sabang. Can you? Sabang. Hello, Sabang. How are you?
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 감사합니다. Yeah, now I'm gonna asking, what did you learn from the Viktor Frankl's life?
That's a tough one, but I've learned something. Actually, I learned his experience and as in how did he come up with the logotherapy thing. Just that, you know, it was very, very, very tough. In fact, though, as you know, that his brother and his mother was died through the gas chamber, and you know, it was very, very difficult for him. That's why therapy. He came with this theory, just to say, you know, and how he survived in the concentration camp, because he realized that it's very, very, very important, because he has a task to complete. That's why he survived. That's number one. He has a task to complete the manuscript he had been working on.
Mm.
Then that's why he came with the concept of the logotherapy, and he said, for you, this concept comes from, you know, we have a freedom of will, the will to meaning, and meaning of life. And that meaning comes from a powerful work. That's what is going to drive you, a powerful work and love. And 3, the courage in the face, of difficulty. As to say, you know, that courage when you come across a difficult time. So you have that courage, because that courage will take you through at the end of the tunnel. So, and he said, and with this theory, actually, with his experience on the camp, he helped a lot of prisoners to stay, to have hope, you know, because that's why he came up with that theory, because he had an influence to the other prisoners to find the meaning of their life. Though his life in the camp, actually, it was so painful, because what he kept him going, it was not just only the manuscript that he was working on, but then the other thing that kept him going is that when he come out from that camp, he was sure that he's going to meet his wife, though it was quite unfortunate, because his wife died a year after his brother and mother died in the gas chamber, and the wife died a year after. But then he didn't know that. That's why he managed to stay in the camp with the hope that one day I will come out here and I will be with my wife. And this goal that he found, the goal of logotherapy, find that there is a connection between the patient's spirit and the patient's health, as to say, with the spirit and the health. So there is a connection. So if you have a positive spirit, definitely your health will be okay. If to say, oh, let me try and hold on and have hope that I will be fine, or I will be come out from this situation. I have a reason to live. I have a reason to live for my daughter, for example, for my wife, for example, for my parents, or etc. So he said there is a connection between the spirit and health. There is always a connection.
Mm.
Yes.
Good. Very good, passionate. Yeah. Viktor Frankl always wanted to listen to the voice that comes from the best and most beautiful part of the whole human beings. Yeah. Now you're understanding very well. Yeah. Let's move on to, we have 2 more. Sandeka, are you there?
Yes, Professor.
Yeah. Also, I want to know you. What did you learn from the Viktor Frankl theory? Yeah.
I learned that Viktor Frankl recommended 3 experiences to hold on when in difficult situations, being the true deeds or the things we do, meaning he held on to the things he used to do before coming to the camp, being writing, finishing up his manuscript, and then the other thing he held on to was the value of art, because there were times in the camp where he would stop what he was doing to appreciate the sky, to appreciate everything around him. And the other thing that kept him going was love. He also held on to
the love he had for the people whom he wanted to see after being out of the camp. His frame of thought was that suffering became an option through which to find meaning and experience value in the light of the absence of other two opportunities. Another thing that I learned is that through his logotherapy, which is based in the meaning that men find underlying motive in the will to meaning, even in the most difficult circumstances. He pointed out that through relationships between meaningless and criminal behavior, addiction and depression, without meaning, people fill in the void of power and materialistic with hatred. That is to say, if you don't have a meaning to anything that you do, then you fill that void with bad attitude, such as having hatred, which will then lead to depression and suicide. To avoid that, you have to have meaning and then look forward to whatever you value in life. That's all.
Good. Now you are getting well. Very good. You did. Now, last, Ketish, I have sent the chat. Please see the chat. Can you read?
Yes,
Can you read that?
Viktor Frankl wanted to listen to the voice that comes from the best and most beautiful. Exactly.
Yeah. The conscience and true self. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
tried.
to find. He tried to find meaning even in difficult situations.
Yeah.
And his attitude completed the logotherapy theory.
Okay, good. Ketish, can you explain about it?
Explain about what?
This word I have sent. Yeah.
Yo, what's the one in my money? Okay. Viktor Frankl, he wanted to listen to the voice that comes from the base. I think he wanted to listen the voice when someone speaks. The voice, it's a manifestation of the unconscious self of that particular person, which is brought to conscious. So I think, yeah, what that message is trying to say, like the first line, Victor, he wanted to listen to the unconscious thoughts, feelings, and experiences of a person manifesting in a voice. So for one to understand what's going on in a person's mind, that person has to voice that out. So voicing it out, it can be either audible, vocal, or non-vocal. So yeah, and then the most beautiful realm of all human beings. Okay, as human beings, we're different. as individuals. So what he's trying to say here, he's trying to say that, so in as much as people are different, but what he's trying to say is that he wanted to understand, get to the bottom of each individual. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Get to the bottom of each individual's experience, attitudes, emotions, and feelings. So there, in order to get to that state, you need to debunk the unconscious and bring it to the conscious state. And that is when you get to understand the true self of a person.
Okay. Good.
And then it says,
Yeah.
and then it says, he tried to find meaning even in difficult times, in difficult situations, and his attitude completes the logotherapy. Yeah. When you read about his logotherapy, you understand that he developed the concept, the context in extreme suffering. Yes. Yeah, Nanjawai. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Through depression, sadness, thus it made him to focus on it. Like his experience showed him that life can be meaningful and fulfilling even in spite of harshness circumstances.
Okay.
And then he turned to go.
Good. Yeah, you may finish. Yeah. Good. Viktor Frankl always focused on the best part of a human being, that is spirituality. As you know, St. Kelly Sabang already mentioned about it. Yeah. You did very good. Now we have 20-minute break. After 20 minutes, we'll be on video. Let's have some rest or some drinks. Yeah. I'll be on video in 45. Are you okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yes. Now we're 55.
35. Let's break.